Yeah, get in here, guys. Come on, lounge. Check, check. Touch boom.
Is that one looking too?
Okay.
Hello, hello.
We'll find a mic stand that works soon, but we're gonna get started. Thank you all for coming out to, I guess, DATFEST or DATLAB Meetup 8, DATFEST Round 1, Night 1. But yeah. Been planning this one or this like little mini festival two-day thing for a couple months now, but it's crazy that we're like 8 months into doing monthly meetups here, and this is probably the best turnout that we've had, which is also awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say. But yeah, thank you guys for coming out. We have a full day of programming tomorrow with workshops and presentations at night, 3 AV duos, because we couldn't get just like single performers. Everyone wanted to collaborate, which was awesome. And also some shirts, and other merch and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. The fact that we're like, 8 months in, it's been really incredible from like thinking back to just trying to get this community together to meet up in person more often, and then being able to do these monthly, really, really special. We've got folks coming from all over for this. I'm trying to think of like who actually traveled the furthest. We've got maybe is Berlin the furthest?
Shout out to Dan from Berlin.
Coming out for it. We've got folks coming in from Toronto folks. Yeah. Ow.
Greg and Isabelle from Derivative.
Let's go. And from LA, from New York. We're getting closer. Detroit, yeah. North Carolina.
Ooh, nice.
Hey, that's awesome. But yeah, this takes me back too. I feel like one of the things that Pablo from Chemistry Creative mentioned early on, he was just saying, and that really resonated with me, is like wanting this to be an opportunity for everyone here to meet and to get to collaborate. And that stood out to me as one of the huge pieces. And we got a really fun connection moment. So from like a personal side of things, early like online collaboration, if y'all are familiar with MediaPipe, Dom Scott is actually here as well. And this is the first time we got to meet in person. Yeah,
Torin and Dom have never met in real life, so this is the first time.
All that was just online collaboration, and yes, it's pretty incredible to be able to be here, kicking things off. And for tonight, we've got some really, really incredible folks. We wanted to have an opportunity for you all to get to meet some of the people that are going to either be doing workshops or the AV performances tomorrow, and then, yeah, get a chance to see that. And we also wanted to take a moment, too, to potentially have Greg and Isabelle pop in and say hi as well. And then I think we're going to have Simon come up after to do a little demo.
Yeah, Simon might actually be first. We might call him up real soon. But yeah, actually, Greg and Isabelle, yeah, come on.
Come on up.
Hello. This is really nice. Thanks, guys, for organizing. I remember the seed of this idea was at Volvox Labs Touching NYC this summer. And Torin's like, oh, I want to do these more often. And then Lyle's saying the same thing. And I think Aaron Alden was thinking the same thing. And then you guys actually did it. So it's really impressive. Yeah. Number 8. Well done. And really amazing to see a lot of new faces and some that we know very well. So thanks so much for coming. Very happy to be here.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys for and Chemistry Creative.
And Chemistry Creative.
And actually, our history in New York. Actually, I first came around 2002 to NYU to look at the student works, and they're all not TouchDesigner. They were like Jitter and stuff like that. It was really inspiring. Made me realize how much stuff is actually happening artistically in the city, as I should have known since I have a long history with this city, going back to 1970, 1969. But that's another story. Anyhow, but for at least 10 years, our user base in New York was 0 from 2002 to 2012, like 0. Finally, somehow it broke in somewhere.
Dev Harlan.
Deb Harlan, that was that's right, and Dave Biancardi at AV&C, who took me to NYU. But it's very, very heartening to see how things have evolved in this city with these boroughs and the boroughs with the communities.
There's even TouchDesigner weddings. We went to 2 in the last month. That's where actually on the TouchDesigner nuptial tour.
Matrimonial services of TouchDesigner, yes.
The
2
first
marriages.
2 TouchDesigner, Matthew Reagan and Zoe Sandoval, got married in Los Angeles, and
2 weeks ago.
and then a couple of days ago, Brandon Epperson and Crystal Zhao, now Crystal and Brandon Zhao person.
So if you're looking for a mate, Isabelle's starting to run the
I'm running a service.
matrimonial section of our website.
No, but anyway, we'll let the show continue, and
Yeah.
hope to see more people tomorrow. And
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks a
Yeah,
lot,
we'll be
guys.
giving a talk tomorrow night. And also, yeah, I just want to say that we usually watch these events, 1 to 6 or whatever it was, from our living room, watching it kind of coming in and going out, the audio coming and going and stuff like that. It's really great being here in high definition with everybody at more than 120 frames per second. It's awesome. And for me, stuff like this, it really gives me a chance to absorb what you people are doing. And so I love getting the conversations about projects as you're doing stuff that's way ahead of what I imagined the software to do. And it really inspires me or us to figure out what our next steps are with the software. It's kind of humbling to be in our position trying to serve a great artistic community. So thanks. Talk to you soon.
And thanks to you. Perfect.
I'm going to invite Simon Alexander Adams. You might know him as Polyhop. But yeah.
So currently we're holding the mic.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which one you want? It's good? Yeah.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Simon, and as introduced by Lyle. And I'm giving a workshop tomorrow called Grid-Based Design. It's in TouchDesigner. And I'm going to just do a little bit of a demo on the tool I built for this. Hey, there we go. It's a little blurry. Sorry about that. The text is small. But wait, let me make it full screen. One-handed TouchDesigner. Okay, cool. So yeah, this tool came about after I've been, working at Art Tech House for about 5 years. I just moved on from being full-time there, but I was there for about 5 years full-time, and so worked on a diverse number of installations. And this came about from needing to do like touch screen installation interfaces where I wanted to arrange things in grids, and I really missed the kind of like ability to define things on a grid that I would have had in, say, like a software like Adobe Illustrator, which I've used before, and it's just like being able to just move something and define layouts in a really clean, intuitive way. I came up with a couple different methods, and then when Torin invited me to do this workshop, I said, well, I should just take that methodology and like make a proper tool for it, because I have been wanting to do this for a long time. So that is the topic of my talk, and so I built this little UI here, and you can define templates, which you would define in the network as geocomps. And the whole idea is that you drag these in. So if I want, say, a Lisa Zhu example, I drag it in, and I have myself this little Lisa Zhu geocomp. It gives me handles where I can adjust and snap to the grid. I can even adjust quarter snapping if I want, things like that, that you might be familiar with, being able to adjust the grid. And then even accessing like the parameters here. So if I wanted to, say, adjust the number of cycles, these kinds of parameters you can access within the UI, which also kind of saves me a little bit of time, like jumping through my network to find the selected object. So even this one right here, if I want to add like headers or a grid, those kinds of things. And then also, I think the key thing here that I found really valuable is I would want to make an interface that's interactive. And so this definition of the grid-based work is also could be rendered as well in a separate network that now I'm like clicking on this and it's got, maybe it's hard to see on the projection, but it is sort of speeding up when I click it, or if I pull in this, I have to go back to the grid, this little banana friend here, then I can click on it and it has a little bit of interaction baked into it. So so that's the tool. I think that this other example here, and I put this together today, is maybe another kind of thing that I've done, these kind of 3D UI elements, which I think are really fun on like touchscreens. So if I wanted to, all of these these have like, they kind of exist like a button component or something, or a slider. So they have kind of UV render picking built into them. And if I jump over to the grid, I could say, well, actually, I want like this button over here and this one here, and maybe, I need to move that over here. It's a little, there we go. So yeah, that's essentially the tool. And then if I jump back over here, now I have adjusted my UI that's in 3D. So I don't know if there's more to say now, because I'm going to go deeper tomorrow, but I was just, that's what I'll be talking about tomorrow at my workshop. So thanks.
I'm going to briefly talk about my workshop that I'm doing with Dan, and then Dan is going to show off some of his like awesome toolkit. He's got like incredible utilities that extend the functionality of TouchDesigner in amazing ways, but I'll let him talk about that. We're going to tomorrow be covering tool building in Touch, kind of talking about like just the general attitude, how TouchDesigner is inherently always a tool builder, but kind of reinforcing a couple, maybe not best practices, because that's a hard word to maybe claim, but good practices. And talking about Python and some stuff that's like really, really nerdy and low level. But yeah, it should be fun. But yeah, bring Dan up here, and we're holding the mic right now, just so you know. Brian, if you're around, if we could try to get a mic stand, if that's possible. I can be a mic stand too, but. Oh, we already might have one. It's the one thing we didn't order for today.
I'll hold it for now. Hey everybody, it's so nice to be here. I came over from Berlin just for this, so very happy to be here. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, so it was a good reason to get out from my cave, where I've been developing a lot of tools for TouchDesigner that are not so sexy when you first look at them and when you maybe when you first hear about them, but in the long run they can save you a lot of time. So I'm all about I wanted to I prepared a little speech that I might diss TouchDesigner in a few ways. Like I might throw some snark, but it's all in love, because the things that you love the most, you are the most honest with, or the people that you love. Yeah. Anyway, you get what I mean. So that's kind of the spirit. Can I get the mic stand maybe? Oh, yeah. Thanks. Thank you very much. Because I will be using a lot of hotkeys and stuff. Okay. Oof. Let's see. Does this work? Do you hear me like this? Or no? Thank you. Yeah. 1 2 1 2 check. Check 1 2. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's good. Okay, so yeah, the first thing you might notice is not this. Is up here there's a lot of extra icons that I added to TouchDesigner, and they all do different things. The newest one and the one I'm the most proud of right now, well, one of them, is a reminder to drink water. So this pops up at intervals. You can set the interval yourself, like how many minutes. Yeah, it should remind you, because we've all been there when you're just dehydrated. You can also change the LFO, like how fast it should blink in your face. You can set it to activate on start. By default, this is disabled. So like if you download my toolbar, which is by the way free on GitHub, then this will be not activated, but you can activate it for yourself. So yeah, when this comes up every 45 minutes, I just click it, take a sip. Everybody take a sip now, and then yeah, it goes away. The other thing that I'm really happy for right now is up here there's this big white kind of ugly title bar of Windows. This is not a huge issue for Mac users, but for Windows it's not so nice. So if I press F7, do I do? Yeah, F7. Yeah, F7 just makes it go away. Woo! Also, I don't know if you noticed any Windows users out there, but when you start TouchDesigner, it actually doesn't start in full screen. It looks almost full screen, but it's not. So my toolbar also fixes that. Also, the timeline is not always useful. You might not always need it. So Alt F7 just makes it go away. In this case, there's also, of course, you don't know if you're paused or not, but if I pause, maybe you can see that the color up here changed. So you know if you're paused or not. Also, it tells you the name of your project file up here. You click it, it saves the project file also. But these are just the newest, smallest updates, let's say. There's a lot. So the idea, how this came to me, like to start modding TouchDesigner, I use it every day since 5 years almost. And I spend a lot of time in there, and I do a lot of repetitive tasks. At least that's what I felt like. So for example, opening the parent customization or the parent parameters even is like, you right click, you have to look in the menu, yada yada. Instead I have this magical button which does a lot of things. Everything is documented on my GitHub. But if I left click it, it just opens the parent parameters, easy. Right click it, opens the component editor, also easy. But then let's say you have, I'm just gonna build something very easy now. Let's do just a noise. Collapsing a network is also something that you do a lot. So you right click, collapse network. So I have a Control W shortcut for that. It also already goes inside the base comp. As well as if you hold Control Shift W, you can also rename the comp that you're just creating now and set up a parent shortcut as well. So that's cool. So let's do that. Let's say that I want to expose some parameters to the parent. Normally you would, again, go to the component editor and so on. Instead, you can just drag and drop a parameter onto this button, and then it's already there as a bind. I can show it also real time like this. So we can just keep adding custom parameters like that. Also, you might still want to customize your custom slider to have a custom range. So you can also do that by holding Control and dragging and dropping a parameter. Then this little window comes up where you can rename it, set the minimum maximum slider value, and so on. So these are just a few of the things that I'm working on. I don't know how much time I have, because I can go like forever. But maybe I show a few more. I don't know. You guys flash me if I'm out of time, but they're busy, so we're good. So there's one of the things that really annoyed me. Sorry to use this word, but the trigger chop, the default parameters of the trigger chop just don't make sense to me. Like, I don't know whoever used sustain 0.5 in their lives for a trigger chop, not me. So you can set up your default favorite parameters for whatever operator. Let's say, yeah, let's just do a AS thing, right? And I can simply drag and drop, let's name it AS. I can drag and drop this onto this OP template button. And the next time I'm putting down a trigger chop, there's these 3 little arrows that show up now, which means I've saved the preset. I call it an OP template. And when I'm about to place it down, I can hold Ctrl and Alt, and that will bring up a little menu. And these are my trigger presets now. And I can just summon the one that I just created. So just like that, you can build your own little presets. You can do this with bigger networks also, kind of like comp. So for renders, I have, yeah, just like an ortho render, just pre-made like this. Yeah, these things are there in my toolkit. Please get it. It's free. And it's all for your benefit, hopefully. Also, swapping operators, yeah, that's just, it should be built in. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, as I said, there's a lot in there. If I open the documentation, you will see how many tools I've built, but also not me. There's also other contributors to this toolkit. One of them, for example, Lyell. He just integrated a very cool feature into the toolkit. So if I take a screenshot, I can simply, paste from the clipboard, Alt-V, and then I can paste it as a file in, or a script top, or an annotate. Let's do a script top, and then we have the screenshot there. So this works for, copying an image from Google or from your drive or from wherever. So thank you, Lyell. That's really cool. Also, a recent contribution from somebody else than me was from Alex Guevara. He's an amazing artist from Berlin. He created this thing called quick marks. And basically, you can put down these marks wherever in a network and then quickly jump to that location just with a hotkey. So to make a quick mark, I hold Ctrl-Alt-1, for example. Then I go over here. Let's put down something here. Ctrl-Alt-2. And then with Ctrl-1, Ctrl-2, I can jump between those 2 positions in my network. It's a little bit similar to the layouts, but yeah, it's different because the layouts also remember your pane settings, and this doesn't mess up your pane settings. Yeah, I think flash me if we're good. Okay. Okay, I will smile now. Thank you. Yeah, there's this thing called reset please. So I see a lot of people putting down keyboarding chops to reset their feedbacks or their LFOs, their speeds, and you might end up with a lot of these around scattered around your network. So reset please just takes care of all your preset needs. I can have a, yeah, let's do something else. Also speed. Sorry, I wanted to. Yeah, and now I can easily reset both of these with this button up here. So this will reset also your feedbacks or whatever. You can customize this to your own needs. Everything in the toolkit is customizable, and it's all open source. You can dive in. You can change it however you want. Yeah, but I think that's about it for now, probably. And yeah, just get on the documentation. I wanted to open the GitHub quickly. Yeah, here we go. Oops. So everything is documented in the wiki. As you can see, there's a ton of stuff here. Yeah, I could go forever, as I said, but yeah, that's it for me now. I was Function Store then, and yeah, thank you.
That's crazy. I've bounced between using that tool set as like my main default project. And in the past week, we're doing this workshop with him. I'm back fully in it, so he's converted me. So, and we're gonna cover a little bit like specific use cases of that tomorrow as well. But we've got one more presentation showing off some awesome AV like instruments made in Touch. But yeah, Isaac, we might do a little quick break right before, just like a couple minutes while he grabs his stuff and brings it up. But yeah, we'll have Isaac up here real soon. Play some music.
That was great. That was really like, that was awesome. Also, I wasn't gonna stop you, but I was maybe in like 2 minutes, and then you're like, and it's like, can you stop this?
If y'all could make your way back into the main area now. Quick. So next up we got Isaac. He actually made his way out from Boston. He's been recently wrapped up his program. He's doing an undergrad for computer science, and he's doing some freelance now. Might be open for some stuff. But yeah, it's been really amazing to see some of the works that Isaac's been putting together, doing these sort of hand-tracked interfaces, and super excited to see the performance today, and also get like a behind the scenes of what he's been producing. So if y'all could give a huge round of applause to Isaac.
everyone. I'm Isaac, or Zonk, and what you guys just saw and heard was a collection of instruments that I've been working on in TouchDesigner over the past about 6 months. I have the means in which I created them were through TouchDesigner and Ableton mainly, and I'm also using a Leap Motion 2, which is a hardware device that detects your hands, and my trusty gaming controller, which I use to switch between scenes. But otherwise, everything is controlled virtually, which was the goal of this whole thing. And I want to give a huge shout out to Torin for creating this media pipe situation. Because without that, I would not have created this at all. I wouldn't be here at all. And Dom, yes. Thank you, Dom. Okay. Yes. I wanted to talk a little bit about my process and how I have started to work like this and work in this zone, and also do a very, very quick demo for you guys. The means in which I started this is I have been really wanting to explore the combination of different different perceptions, and those perceptions being motion and sound and visuals. And I've seen a lot before people combining sound and visuals. You see in like a music video or a visualizer, and that's done a lot in TouchDesigner. And with the Media Pipe plugin, I've seen a lot of people combining movement and visuals, using your hands to alter visuals and change things. But I've been really into doing things with all those things combined, combining sound, movement, and visuals in a way that's pretty concise. So I'm just gonna hop into a very quick demo of kind of an example of how I might make an instrument like this. So I was messing around a little while ago, and I came up with this idea for a kind of watery particle graphic. And it doesn't really matter what the base is. Sometimes I start with the visuals, sometimes I start with a sound idea, sometimes I start with a motion idea. In this case, we're just gonna take this graphic, which I kind of liked, these particles coming off my hands. And I found on Ableton, I found a sound that I kind of liked with it. It's kind of loud. Maybe I'll turn that down a little bit. I have a sound that is connected to it, kind of an underwater sound. And this is already combining visuals and sound in a way that's kind of interesting, right? You have your underwater pictures, and you have your visuals and the sound kind of working together. But what I want to do is I want to have an element of movement and have that movement affect something about the sound and the visuals. So what I'm doing is I think about, okay, what do I want to happen? And maybe I want a swelling to happen, right? It's an underwater sound. Maybe I feel like I'm deep underwater, and I want to go and rise up. And maybe that, to me, feels like moving my hand up and down. And so what I want to do is, as I move my hand up and down, it's not detecting it super well. As I move my hand up and down, I want the water sound to rise, and I also want the visuals to be affected in a way that kind of works together. And so the way I go about doing that, I kind of have my 3 sections here. I have what's called the guardrails. This is kind of like in bowling, when you don't know how to make a shot, when you're like young, and you're like put up the guardrails because it won't hit a gutter ball no matter what. This is kind of what I'm doing. I'm setting up a comp beforehand with the Media Pipe plugin that gives me all this data points that I will use in the future. And most of my projects are kind of based off this. You have your basic data points. Sorry, 1 second. You have your basic data points, like at the top you have X and Y value. Right, as I move my hand up, you get the Y value increasing, we have the X value increasing. And then we have a velocity, and I added things like index close, so when I close my index finger, I can trigger something, right? So I have these data points that work with me. And then I bring them over here and I want to send it to Ableton. But right now I have a value. Let's say I want to raise my hand. I have this Y value that's going up from 0 to 1 as I raise my hand. But Ableton, the effect that I want to edit in Ableton is going from 0 to 127. So I say, okay, I'm going to send it through a math chop. And that's going to just alter the data to instead of go from 0 to 1 to 0 to 127. And I'm going to have it start somewhere in the middle because I don't want the filter to go all the way to 0. And then I have a null chop because it's good practice, because in case I ever want to change this math chop, I wouldn't be able to send it. And so I have this Ableton parameter chop, and this what it does is it affects one parameter in Ableton. And I'm going to turn that off for a second. And this can just be found in the palette right under TD Ableton. So it's all stock. And what I do is I have this parameter, right, and I want to map this parameter to my filter frequency. And so my filter frequency is right down here. And I want to map this right here to be mapped by TouchDesigner. And so I click on that, I go back over, and I say map from live. And what that does is now this parameter, as I change it, I can change the filter. Now I want to map that to my hand. So I take this value that I already preset and add as reference. So now, when I raise my hands, we have the sound editing. And now we want to go a step further and think about how can these visuals be affected as I raise my hand to match the sound. And that's what I'm always trying to think about, is how can I match motion, sound, visuals. And to do that, I am using just a stock feedback edge plugin, which is also in the palette. And I'm importing this value from 0 to 1 to the dry wet mix. And what that does is it adds feedback as I raise my hand. That was a very brief demo. Sorry if it was a little bit choppy. I now, let's see if this works. I want to ask if you guys have any questions. I can't see super well, but if you have a question, please raise your hand. No question. Yes.
How long does it take you to build one of these?
It varies. I think the first one that I made, which was the one with the white background and the two hands that like went like that one took me about a week, 2 weeks of like straight working on that and nothing else. But as I do more and more, I have these like presets and tools that I'll use for other projects. So I kind of have this mapping. Yes?
I noticed during the set you had some part where you were like doing full body tracking. How well does your system work with full body movements and like integrating dance?
That's a great question. I've been meaning to, my next project that I want to embark on is working with a dancer to create music from movements rather than use the movements to match the music. So it can do pretty good tracking, yes. So I use it mainly for hands because that was me sitting at my computer moving my hands. Easiest to do that. But it can definitely do full body pretty well. I don't know if that answers the question. Yeah. Any more? Yes.
How invested were you in music and producing before starting immersion tech?
That's a great question. I was pretty invested. I would say I have a music background, so I started playing piano and went from there to producing, and then only recently discovered TouchDesigner, and I've been using my producing knowledge to kind of like work backwards from there.
You said only recently, how long is that? When did you?
I took a class on it about 6 months ago. But to be completely fair, this is like all I've spent my life on for the past 6 months, so.
Any last question? One more question for Isaac?
That's like a really great question. I tend to wait for, well, I don't wait, but when an idea comes to me, I try to write it down immediately. And sometimes things will pop into my mind, and sometimes they'll be like, what the hell is that idea? Like, that's really stupid. But I'll write it down anyway, because sometimes I've like noticed, especially with TouchDesigner and technology like this, a lot of things that I believe to be impossible can actually be possible. So the way I think about it is like, sometimes in a more practical answer, I think about other instruments that were created. I try to model my stuff off older instruments like a theremin. That's a pretty easy comparable thing, or like a DJ controller. But sometimes it's like good to think out of the box and be like, what happens when I do this? And like, maybe this makes like a cool sound, and that can be programmable in a different way. Anyone else? Okay, well, I have one. If you want to follow my work, you can go to zonk_music at Instagram. And send me any projects that you guys make. I'd love to see anything, and also come talk to me. I would love to talk about anything. Thank you, guys.
That's a nice sound. That's too good. Intense music. Thank you, Isaac. That was great. So yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of the night here. Ooh, yeah, this is a hot zone. Oh, that wasn't me.
Yeah,
Or it's probably just this one. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the night. We have run out of beer. We have run out of people that are presenting. And yeah, we have a full day of programming starting at 10 a.m., but 10 a.m. to 11 is like a little coffee reception thing. If you want to check out, I just put a schedule right outside the door if you want to check out some of the programming. We also have DATLABNYC.com, which has been recently published and put together, but that also has a full listing of all of the workshops, presenters, and AV performers that we have tomorrow night. But yeah, also we're probably gonna do a drink or two afterwards at Anchored In. So if anyone's down to hang out and keep talking a little bit, we're gonna do a little bit of setup for tomorrow here. So we do ask that you guys go hang over there. But yeah, thank you all for coming out.
Yeah, and for tomorrow morning, since there's beginner and advanced workshops, we're gonna start in
3:05.
In here. Yeah, so everyone will group up in here first during the first kind of hour, and then for the beginner workshop, we'll be going over next door. And I'm actually really looking forward to that. It's going to be so fun. If you're joining me for the beginner workshop, we're going to be doing, for the first section, kind of intro to TouchDesigner. And then Paula, who I wish could join tonight, but she'll be here tomorrow. She's joining us on the live stream and said hi. She's going to be doing this really amazing workshop on diving into making these really cool 3D pieces in TouchDesigner. And then Dom and I are going to follow up in the third session. And so we're going to basically build on everything that we've created and then turn it into a full interactive art piece. So 301 actually has like a full like 3-wall projection. And from there, we're going to basically make it into a piece. So collectively, everyone's work will get turned into an interactive artwork that we can all experiment with.
And then if you're just coming tomorrow for the evening, which there are still a couple tickets left, but we're going to start it with like maybe a gathering. It might be in 301, like the first hour, but we're going to be actually showcasing like all of the work that beginner showcase or beginner workshop has done and made throughout the day. So get your work on a big interactive screen. It's fun. But also the beginner workshops are sold out, so yeah. I'm not advertising those tickets. Yeah, I think that's all I've got. Yeah. Any questions? Or we'll just see you at Anchored In. But yeah, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thank you.